We really appreciate catching up with the member for Murray in the New South Wales Parliament, living in the south of the New South Wales, Helen Dalton. How are you, Helen?
I'm very well, thank you.
Now, it's been a hectic and difficult time for communities throughout your electorate, but let's start talking down south, Echuca-Moama area. You've just been down there. What's the latest?
Well, Echuca-Moama flood peak has been pushed back to Wednesday to 95.3 metres. So I think from what I can gather, it's exceeded the 74 level, and back to 1867, I believe, is when it was last at that height. So
not even 56. We're past the 56 level?
Yeah, I think so. But, every flood's different. That's the thing. And, with a lot of development over 150 years at least, no one's quite sure what's going to happen, really.
Yeah, there was evacuation orders in place, etc. for Moama, so still some difficult times ahead during this current week.
For sure, and I mean, it's been wonderful to see the community working together, and they've done a lot of sandbagging, and it's almost a wait and see now. But, there have been gaps in some of the help down there, which I guess we'll address later after the floods have gone. I think there's things that we can do a lot better.
All right, we might talk about them a bit later too, but when it comes to other communities in your electorate, Deniliquin, and how are they travelling a bit further off from the border?
Well, they're in trouble, I think, as far as the peak, so I think it's going to exceed most levels that they've experienced. And with the rain that we've had last night, it should, I think the river goes up a lot quicker there, and so I think people are expecting it that it may overbank, but I'm not sure. The locals are not sure either.
A bit further north, and this is where we're also seeing some highways have been cut, including the Sturt Highway, Hay through to Darlington Point. What's the status there on the river? Well,
I went through there the other day, and I know Narandra is facing further flooding today. So from Colin Gully to right through to Gillen Bar and to Waddy near Darlington Point, that section of road is all closed. So people are doing the long trek around. So I don't know when that road will be reopened, but I know that Narandra are facing a lot of flooding today.
Sure are, and then further up, we're in the Carrathul-Hillston sort of area. What have you been hearing from up there? Have you been up there lately?
Moderate flooding at Carrathul and Darlington Point. I went through Darlington Point on Sunday. It didn't look moderate to me, but it's not closing the roads or anything, but gosh, there's some water there. Hay's also going to be, they're reaching a fair peak there this week. Flooding is expected all week, so hopefully it'll stay within the levees. So I might duck out there tomorrow to see what's going on. And Hillston's a bit the same, wait and see. There's an awful lot of water going down the Lachlan as well. So, and all that water, of course, has got to go into the Murray. So it's going to be an interesting time further down towards Wentworth. So they've got time to prepare, but and they're just wondering what's going on. But in 1956, they've got a memorial of a Fergie tractor, I think, up on a pedestal to say how the Fergie tractor helped them during the 56 floods. They're getting prepared, but they're, again, not sure what's going to happen.
Now, the Murray-Darling Basin Authority had a meeting on Friday, and their communique that's just come out Monday morning indicates that the storages in the whole system have never been more full. Is it time to be looking at more dam storage somewhere?
Look, I think with climate variability, that would be the sensible thing, and we've been calling out for dams in the right places, particularly en route storages as well. But it's interesting too in that, they're pushing, the MDBA and are pushing for an extra 450 gigalitres downstream. And we know that this is the sort of mess that it'll make if they're, to get 450 gigalitres to South Australia. So I don't think they're wanting about 80,000 megs across the border from New South Wales along the Murray into South Australia. And I think we're at about 78,000.
Yeah, they're projecting 120 by December.
Well, that's, you've got rivers running, overflowing, you've got roads cut, you've got all those things. So to deliver 450 gigalitres is really, I think it's undeliverable. And I'm hoping to have a meeting with Tanya Plebiscite in the very near future to discuss all of those options. But Also, the rivers running at that level are really unusable for recreation and they're dangerous. We've already seen a few people missing, and I think there's been, I'm not sure, but 1 or 2 deaths.
Yes, I think so, yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, there's all these things have to be factored into this aspirational target that they're wanting, which it's just not deliverable.
Yeah, there was a lady from near Deniliquin Barham, Louise, I think it was, we spoke with. We might have talked about that last time we spoke, about how the Barham area and the choke is all just saturated and can't take any more water, but the water just still can't flow through that area effectively.
No, that's right. That's Louise Burge, and she suffers a lot of flooding too. So, I mean, we've got to be very sensible with all of this, but I think common sense isn't that common.
And speaking of the farmers, just what are we going to have to do with regard to, like we've heard that maybe a third of the grain crop across the east coast is already affected by rain, but there's a lot of flooded crops and even going to be difficult to get in there and deal with the crop in the next month or so. That's
right. All the internal farm roads, most people try and road train out. So you've got to deal with your farm roads, and if they're not gravelled, or it's not going to take much for those roads to fall apart. To try and truck out from the farm, let alone the council roads and other roads that these trucks have got to go down, because all those roads are breaking up, and I think it'll be a very slow harvest. Because they'll be asking people to slow down because the roads are just atrocious. And of course, we've got to work out how we are going to harvest our crops, get from a pickup bin into the truck, get it out of our farms as well. So there's a lot of logistic problems that are occurring. And also the other thing is the lack of seasonal labour as well. So there's a lot of stress about for a lot of farmers, but they have to just take everything in their stride and take each day as it comes.
Well, could there be some sort of hope on the horizon, perhaps portrayed by either the federal government in a budget or indeed the state government with an election next March, to say, look, there's going to be some major infrastructure investment to... Now, we used to talk about drought-proofing the nation. Do we need to flood-proof your electorate?
I think so. We certainly need to have a better strategy, I think, and what we do is we get flooded out every once in a while, and then we just repair it back to what it was before, where we do need some visionary planning, where we do get these extremes. We need to make our roads better and higher, and just so it's fit for all events, drought and flood. Because here we're just seeing everything just breaking up, and it's very, very dangerous getting around at the moment.
Well, Helen Dalton, I appreciate you sharing your time. We've got a lot of flood-affected communities to visit. Thanks for joining us today on Flow.
No, thanks so much.